And we're here. Well, I guess the guys on Raise the Stakes just went offline. I didn't know that, but well, hello. I'm here. And I thought I'd just say hello to everybody on this beautiful Friday morning as I continue to work on how this rearrangement of the studio may or may not function. Again, we are working on it, and it is a never-ending challenge. I don't like change, but I thought today I'd do a chitty chat type Friday, and look for my phone. It's in my pocket. Hey there, how you doing, bud? Long time no see, huh? You must be getting off of work now and getting ready to call it a day. I suspect. I'm not sure what's going on. How's the fish business? Everything good? Sounds kind of fishy to me. Okay, I'm not funny, but I try. I try. Anyhow, I did finally get my lamp to. I can adjust my lamp here by my phone. I have a quote unquote smart lamp. I don't know how smart it is, but it's my lamp, and I will do with it as I can. I think I'm gonna change the color. What color should we go to for today? What do you think? How about we go? Let's go. Here we go. Blue. That's blue. Green. No, I don't like the green. We'll go like a sun color. There we go. There we go like that. We're gonna make it over here, and then we're gonna take it down a little bit. There we go. How's that for a light? I like that. Apply. Okay. I don't know what I just did, but hey, I changed the light. So everybody good today? Make sure you smash that like button so people know. As a getting out of a really good a conversation with the gentleman there at Raising Stakes, they can come by here and they can chitty chat on a Friday. So you have to work this weekend, don't you, buddy? I think yesterday when we were discussing your dilemma there, getting up early in the morning and heading out to work, that you're going to have to work this weekend. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to see the movie Dune today. Dune 2. Dune Part 2 comes out today in a theater near you. And I am going to enjoy that. Matter of fact, I'm going to slide right for a real quick second. I'll be right back. Hang on. I'm still here. I don't know if what I'm looking for I'm going to find, but I'm still here. Okay. I don't know what that was. Interesting. I went into my drawer of stuff. I have my drawer of stuff over there. And this is my flex weights. Now, this is my bag of memorabilia. Do you have a memorabilia bag? I mean, we're just chatting today. We're going to talk a little bit of carnivore stuff, and we'll talk about things that are near and dear to each one of you, I'm sure. But I'm going to bring out some old things, and so I'm going to go to Dune today, the movie, right? Check this out. Da, 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 da. I have a Chris knife from the first Dune movie, the one that had Sting in it. Yeah, this is it. Now, the dealio is I'm not supposed to have this. No. So what happened, I'm going to move that just a little bit. Again, always working. There we go. Okay. I moved the lamp, so the lamp's not in my head anymore, so I can do this. Now, this is broken, see? But this is not a relic. It is a broken Chris knife that they gave the actors, the Fremen, when we were in the movie Dune, the first one. And I shot, and I was an extra down, and we filmed in El Paso, but mainly filmed in Mexico. Oh, let me share the link. I got it, buddy. Stand by. Doodly doodly doo. Hey, copy. It's been copied. And Control V. And there we are, my friend. All right. So I was an extra, and we would get on a bus and go down into Mexico, and we would film. And one day on set, I found one of these broken ones, and I smuggled it out of the set because I keep a pretty tight watch on things. But that's my Chris knife from the movie Dune, the first one, and I will be going to see Dune Part 2 today. And of course, I saw Dune Part One. I really liked it. I wonder what else I have in the bag of tricks for today. Let's see. What is this? I don't know. We'll put that over there. We're not revealing everything just now. Oh, there you are, Graham. Good to see you. I'll wait for you to come on in. And ladies and gentlemen, it's the one, it's the only Graham. Hey, buddy.
Hi, Scott.
How-
First time for everything. Nice to meet you, Scott.
Yeah, good to talk with you too, my friend. I've seen you on lots of different broadcasts, and now I get to deal with you live and in person. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
How was work
okay.
last night?
Last night? Okay, this today.
Well, okay, today, yeah.
For me, it's today. Well, it was great. Was very busy. Like I said, working for a fishing company. Um, being what you call it now, plant manage, not plant support. Plant support. So I work with figures, numbers,
Okay.
and that's the kind of job I do. Counting production, what they manufactured for the day, and stuff like that.
Oh, very
So
cool.
that's basically the realm I'm in.
That's good. I've done I did business development
Mm-hmm.
when I got out of the military, and I did a lot of that. How do you say that? Building the contract reply. So when we want to look for partners, or the government would say, "Hey, we need somebody to give us ABC." I'm the one who answered and wanted to win the business, and so I did that. And then I was uh, a data quality manager at a hospital.
Okay.
So I played around with a lot of figures, a lot of facts and figures. I like
Mm-hmm.
data. Data normally is much easier to play around with than people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So I mean, I call it like I see it. So well, good for
Yeah.
you. So how things been going in your carnivore journey?
Yeah, it's going great. Going great for me. 346 days down the line, like you said this morning, it's going to be a year soon.
Oh
On the
yeah.
22nd of March, it's going to be a year. So it's
What do
going
you
great,
think?
down.
What do you think your biggest or your most noticeable improvement has been over that year?
It's more to do with why I started. Um, is to do with getting off medication.
Okay.
That was my biggest reason. I got tired of the drinking from 2015 hypertension tablets. Started to get tired. If I miss, I got sick. So you get tired of every morning. You must remember that you must drink the tablets, and yeah, and sometimes the what you call it, the chemist would tell me, "Did you go for a checkup?" I would say no because I know they're going to increase my dose. So I left it from 2015 until last year, around about, I say June, July, around about July, I dropped the meds as well. So that was the greatest thing from March until July, carnivore diet. In between, it started to drop statins firstly, and then started slowly with the other two meds that I had. So yeah, that was the amazing part, that I could drop it and then go to a doctor, and the doctor would want to put me back on a statin, and I said no ways. I'm
Now,
more wiser now.
so now, how did your doctor? I mean, when your doctor, if they, a lot of times they just focus on the cholesterol number, right? And they don't look
Exactly.
at how is Graham feeling. How is
Mm.
Graham? Uh, uh, like I like to look at how are you operating in your environment. Are you? I mean, it's one thing to be able to go to work every day. It's another thing to be able to go to work, go home, be mobile, be happy, to be
Mm.
active.
Yeah.
And I think our doctors don't say. Now, my doctors have learned because I'll argue with them. Um, you need to ask the right questions in my mind. And I think if you feel good, you're moving good, and you're powerful in what you can do.
Mhm.
That if you have an energy reserve in case, like if you're at work and all of a sudden work says, "Hey, you got to work another 3 hours," or you're doing something that you like to do outside in a hobby and you have to do extra and you can do it. It doesn't cost you 2 days of recovery time. That's
Mm.
really what we want. I guess that would be like functional health.
Yeah,
So, what did your doctor say about you getting? I mean, I assume you lost some weight.
yeah. When I went to him in January, I think that January, February with my wife, basically, he said something which triggered the idea of where he said to her, um, she must lose weight, and then he referred to me and saying, "Look at you."
That did not make her happy, did it?
that that didn't make me happy, and my wife was looking okay because my wife was she had a back operation.
Okay.
So she said to the doctor, "Listen, yeah, it's a year now, and the pain is back." And
Ooh.
he said to her, "Look at you." And then I was like looking at her, and he said, "You're not too far off. You also there. You need to do something." So I think that's the trigger in showing him that yes. Then I was looking, and obviously I was feeling a bit sicker more because now I'm gaining weight again. So, and I was at that point, I was 203 pounds. At that point in March when I started, I was 203 pounds. And today I can say I'm at 154 pounds.
Wow, that's a big difference because, if I lose 54 pounds, you could barely tell. My head might get a little smaller because
Mm,
I started about 320 and I'm 6 foot 5.
wow.
So I'm really tall, so I can distribute that fat really well. It doesn't mean I'm not just as fat. It just means I can hide it better, right? But for a person who's smaller, your percentage, you like numbers, right? You're
Mm,
50 pounds out of 200 pounds, a much bigger percentage than out of 300 pounds.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Hi, Ellen. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in and stay on and give a hello. Yeah, knows a notification. Have a great weekend. You do the same, all right? Enjoy
Hmm.
it. So, Graham, so now, did your wife go ahead and did she adopt some of your carnivore keto principles?
That's another story. When I started, it sounded to her insane. Just gonna eat meat. It sounded to her that, but she supported me, in everything that I did. So I started to get fussy and said, "No, I will make my own food. I
Mm,
want it this way. I don't want that in my food." I started to become a person like that,
okay.
making my own food, and don't use what you call it, vegetable oil.
Yeah, seed oil,
I'm
vegetable
gonna
oil.
I'm gonna use butter, and
There you go.
started to buy my own stuff. It started like that. 3 months down the line, my kids, which is young adults, asked their mom and said, "Don't you want to join dad? Just trying it out." And they also told her they will also try it out.
Okay.
But now the family tries it out.
Oh,
I
that's
think,
awesome.
yeah, the first two weeks, my daughter said no, she can't handle this lot of meat. She needs some veggies. So I said to her, just look at the keto or keto diet,
Right.
um, so you can get into that frame. So
Right.
she said, no, that's great. She's gonna try that, and she's still on it. My wife and my son, they both are on the carnivore, on and off now.
Okay.
They started great. But I think December holidays, on and off. Now they're on and off. Um, so yeah, but I'm still continuing. I did some testing, like testing what does an ice cream do,
Right.
right? See how does that affect me? No effect, but I know what the cheesecake does. That gives you pain in the joints. So I've discovered that as well. And person feels awful. The other test that I did was okay. Let me just see cheese. I also discovered too much cheese is also not good for the joints. So
So
also
now, did you
discovered.
find out what's your tolerance for cheese? Like, is any cheese too much cheese, or more than 3 slices in a day? I mean, how does that work for you?
For me, a sprinkle of cheese is fine,
Okay,
right? But if you now sprinkle maybe 2 or 3 slices of cheese, it's too much. And that
or,
was
or like
cube cheese. Yeah.
do you ever get the chance to maybe eat pizza or lasagna, and then you
No.
pick out? Well, I do, and so I live in a neighborhood where a lot of us built houses at the same time or near time, same. And we're all close friends. We all go out to dinner a couple times a year, maybe. Well, actually, we used to go about once a month. And
Hmm.
there's a pizza place up the road. All you can eat pizza for like $8.
Wow.
It has
So
salad and pizza and soup and
okay.
ice cream, everything. So we go. What I do, I'll eat like 12 to 15 pieces,
Wow. Mm.
but I don't eat any of the crust. I pull all the cheese, and I don't eat the cheese and meat ones. I don't eat the pineapple one, And
Yeah.
I'll eat all that cheese, but I'll still have a problem because there's a little bit of the tomato sauce.
Mm.
It's not the best cheese. I'm eating a big chunk of cheese, so it not so great for me. But I think I'm like you. I think a lot of people are like you, Graham, that we we can eat some
Mm.
bit of what we used to have or what used to cause us problems. And then what I'm interested in, I was listening to Kelly Hogan speak yesterday in the video, and I'm interested in wanted to hear more about how people change in their process. So in a year, you've had a lot of changes. You were at let's say if your X and Y is at 0, right? And
Mm.
a year ago, as you map out the numbers, you could probably find if you put your weight and your I don't know if you did measurements or whatever, but if you put the weights and measurements and if you kept a food journal, you could
Mm.
probably look to see, hey, 2 to 3 days or a week after a not a pure carnivore journey, I had a certain set of responses.
Mm.
But also now you could find out that, hey, after 6 months, I could tolerate something better. Like I wouldn't have as much joint pain if I indulged in something, right?
Yeah.
Like a carrot, you know. I'm
Mm.
really interested to hear other carnivores speak about how they continually reevaluate
Mhm.
instead of like some people, and I don't mean it negative, but some people are just like fire and forget. I do this the whole way. I don't measure. I don't do anything. And 6 months later, I see a change, but I can't really quantify it very well,
Mhm.
and I can't articulate um, uh, how that impacted my day to day life.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear from
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. For me, I document from day one what I'm eating. Um. However, I started my videos on day 130. Um.
Yeah.
Every meal recorded every meal.
Mm,
And basically that is my what I ate segment short. So for me, it's like yes, I can say if I eat something wrong, I can pinpoint it to what I'm eating. If my blood pressure is up, I can pinpoint it to what it is, to
right.
what I eat. And yes, the other thing, I do 1 meal a day. So that's
Oh, you're OMAD. Okay.
yes, yeah. I was too mad. Let me rather start. I was 3 mad, then I became too mad about carnival, and then I'm
Right.
now a oh mad one.
Well, I
So
think
yeah.
well, I think what you're saying, and I think a lot of what I've heard other people talk about is um, if you're if you're truly saying I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, and I eat to satiety, then you're going to go from 3 mad to 2 mad to OMAD, just like you did, because you're just not hungry, and you have all this energy, and your mind is active. So all of a sudden, you're saying, "I'm just forgetting to eat." It's not like, for me, like my wife. I love my wife. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
and she's trying. She is really trying to go ketovore, right? And she does a lot of the carnivore stuff, and she's starting to like it. I actually catch her eating butter sometimes. But she has to, every when 4 to 5 hours after eating, she starts getting a crushing headache. She has to eat,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. And she gets mad because I don't want to eat. Like, we had a breakfast this morning. I just had a couple of eggs, I had some butter, and I had some bacon. Nothing big. I'm not hungry right now. But if she was home right now, she'd be one to eat because it's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime for us, right? And it's only been 4 hours. And she's off at a place at a Bible study eating right now. So
Mm.
um, I hope she wants to do this. She sees it when it's better for me, but it's a big mental jump for her to really buy in. So what I need to do, I need to be successful this go round. So I stopped, and with Halloween at the end of October, all the way into the first week of January, I just said, "The heck with it. I'm going to eat whatever I want: eggnog, fruit cake, cookies, the whole 9 yards." I went back on it, started getting a little bit more serious. I
Mm.
started in January, got serious here in February, and the wife notices the difference, and I want to power through for the next few months. So she'll see, and then she'll, like your wife and your children, will adopt it because it's a different way. Carnivore is really a different way of life, and it goes against all the money that's spent in advertising. It goes against everything
Yeah.
we were taught, but you have to do what works for you. I mean, if my wife could
Exactly.
eat bananas all day and be really healthy and felt great and everything good, I'd encourage her. But
Mm.
that's not the case.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I know where you're coming from when it comes to headaches. That was my thing.
yeah.
Eating your headache away rather. I was when I started with intermittent fasting, I was scared to do a 16. So I had my food next to me
Hmm.
when I did my first day fasting of 16 hours. I had the food here next to me just in case a headache popped.
Mm.
So I was surprised I didn't get a headache. And normally when I stay without food for not for a long period of time, I would get a headache.
Sure.
So it might have been the blood pressure thing is that's um, mixing up in my system that made me feel hungry, or the carbs what I ate. So yeah, it might be a chemical reaction that causes headaches. But
Well,
yeah.
it absolutely is. I can time it. Like, I was just looking at, I have two or three of my glucose monitors. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to stick myself 6 times a day, every day. I tracked it, and
Mm,
I can see the ups and I love the medical aspect, and I
uh-huh.
can definitely 100% positively say that if you are running on a carb based diet, um, when you don't offer that fuel, you'll get a headache, and you'll get angry, hangry, like they say, and your body says, "I want this fuel," because it's the easiest fuel to use. It's so easy for the body, and the body
Yeah.
technically is pretty lazy. It wants to do the easiest things, conservation of
Mm,
energy.
yeah.
Whereas for me, I was real lucky in being in the military. We
Mhm.
didn't always get to eat on regular time frames, and I've always had a pretty good resilience for when I was brought up. Mom, Dad said, "This is the time we eat. There are no snacks. If you
Mhm.
don't eat, you go hungry, right?" Well, then the military it happened out. So when I came to keto and I came to carnivore, I was able to do. I can go 16 hours without eating easy, and I've done a 5 day fast, and the
Mm,
day number three was a little hard, but
mm,
um, I understanding the science of it. I can tell my body, you're not really hungry. You're going
Mm.
through a chemical change. Relax. So I have asthma pretty bad. And sometimes when I get, I will usually get like a pneumonia, walking pneumonia, bronchitis
Mhm.
frequently.
Yeah. Mm.
And I used to panic because I couldn't get air in. And then the doctor told me, he says, you only, whenever you breathe, your body only uses 17%
Mm.
of the oxygen in each breath. That's why mouth
Mm.
to mouth works, because you breathe in, you use 17% of the oxygen. You can give it to the other person real easy, right?
Mhm.
So I learned when I was having an asthma attack to tell myself it's okay. You're only going to make it worse if you
Penny.
go
Mm.
further into the panic. So don't do it. Just lay here, take shallow breaths, and you're okay. And then when I had to I hurt my back like your wife. I hurt my back a bunch in the military. I had to get a lot of MRIs, and I had to
Mm.
go in that MRI machine, that tube, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fella. I don't fit in the tube very well. Matter of fact,
Wow.
the tube is this far away from my nose,
Mm.
so a little claustrophobia. So I
Mhm.
would
The
put a
hammering.
washcloth.
Mm.
I put a washcloth over my eyes, and I say, "You're okay," because I'm used to telling myself, "You're okay."
Mm.
So then, when it came to food, you're okay. Look at how much fat you have on your tummy. You could live for 3 months off this, but you have to be able. You have to talk with your head. You know.
Yeah.
So but that's good. That's good. So now you say you got to work all weekend long.
Um, Cancelled due to
Oh,
other plans.
okay.
Yeah, they're still working, but it's canceled on my side. So
Well,
so
good for you.
yeah, that's great news. That's why I feel more relaxed
Good.
now because I got a weekend to look forward to.
So what do you have planned for your family over the weekend? Now you said you had adult children, right?
Yeah.
How many children do you have, and what are their ages?
Two, one is 24 and the other one is 20. So the boy got a boy and a girl. Boy is 24 and girl 20.
All right, nice.
Uh,
Are they married? Are they betrothed?
no,
Good.
no.
That's good.
Still living with their parents and still loving their parents.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, my children. I was very lucky. All my children wanted to leave my house pretty quick. Um, uh,
Hmm.
I encouraged it. My daughter, she went off to college and she did that for a couple of years. And then she moved and she
Mm.
went into life. And I'm like, good for you, you know. My two boys, my one boy, he went off to college and worked, and I knew raising him, he was not going to be allowed to live in my house when he turned
Mhm.
18 because he's a wild child.
Mhm.
And I was so sure I didn't want him to live with us. I paid for his apartment. I paid for his apartment. I paid for his car. I paid his insurance, and I paid for his phone. Go
Mm.
away. I don't need the headaches. And then he did that, and now he do real well, and he has a one daughter, been married now for a bit, and then I've got a youngest one who went into the military, and
Mm.
he did that for 8 years, and he's doing his own thing, and I'm like, good for you. You know how it is with children. The first you get your child, it's so wonderful, and you love them. You go through all the parenting stuff, and you love it when they're off of formula or whatever they're taking. You love it when they get off of diapers. You get more money back in your account.
Mm.
And the next big thing is like you love it when you don't have to spend all the time watching them. They can watch themselves. And you
Mm.
graduate a little bit at a time. Then one day they move out of your house. And for me, I was like, oh, but I realized that was a false sense of hope.
Yeah, yeah.
The real joy came when they got off of my payroll. When I stopped paying
Mm.
their cell phones and their insurance and their rent, I was like, that was a real joy because I just like, wow, I didn't know we had this much money available to us. We've been giving it to the kids,
Mm.
paying the kids out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
I'm
you,
going through that currently.
So, are your children? Are they going to advanced schooling, or I'm not sure how they do it in South Africa. I know that the United States not like the rest of the world and how we do things. So, are they doing school? Are they working? Both?
My son is studying photography,
Oh, cool.
so it's his third year, which is his last year.
Hmm.
And then my daughter, she studied makeup, and she's in close to a year working now in the makeup industry.
Okay, you ready for
So,
this? I'll show you
yeah,
this. You see that?
beauty.
That's
Right?
me. I went to beauty college. It didn't work.
So yeah.
But that's good. That's good for your daughter. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's a tough business to be in. You know, you got a lot of
Mm.
time. You got to work, and you're always working with people. You know, like we said, working with numbers is a lot different than working with people.
People, yeah. And
Yeah.
she's basically in the sales industry. It's basically a shop selling makeup and
Mhm.
doing the makeup.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So, and what type of photography does your son like? I mean, does he have a favorite type, like landscape, or does he like to do people or
People,
sports?
people mostly. My two kids is very creative. They are part of a modeling agency as well, which is
Oh,
like voluntary
mhm.
modeling agency in my community. Yeah. So they like doing. She's like the creative makeup artist,
Okay,
managing that department, and he's like the photography. So mostly he's photography is modeling and close-ups,
okay,
and likes the darker shade of things.
okay.
Yeah, he likes that type of photography where it's more darker and stuff like
Sure,
that.
sure,
So
sure.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to remember. I do a little photography myself, not professional.
Mm,
I have really good cameras and stuff, but my equipment is much better than I am. But I love taking. I like candid photography, like
mhm,
just like almost like street photography and
mhm,
nature. And I like doing events. So like when my church goes places on mission trips, they'll often
mhm,
bring me along to do like a photojournalism, and I'll take a lot of pictures of the team, the people, and that's what I like to do. Catch the
mm,
the raw, uh, honest
yeah,
situation, and then so that's fun. That's what I do. I
mm,
do that for a little fun. But it sounds like your son and your daughter are coming to a point where they can maybe do their own ad agency. You know, like
yeah,
she could.
yeah. I told them, why didn't you guys go into that industry? You can have your fusion. I said fusion because
Mhm.
mixing it together,
Yes.
photography and makeup like a fusion type of thing. But yeah,
Well, you know, it may be that as they grow their skills,
mm,
as they grow their social networks, at one point in time, someone's going to say, "Hey, you think you two can do a shoot for a product, you know, and your son's going to know how to do the lighting and how to get the angles and get the proper what do they call that when you build the picture, you know, the architecture of the picture,
mhm,
and your daughter's going to be able to enhance all of that with the proper layering of colors, you know. I mean, that's
mhm,
like product placement.
yeah,
A lot of people make real good money. Matter of fact, Tony and Chelsea Northrup, they have a big photography channel on YouTube, Tony Northrup, and they make money from YouTube, but mainly they make their money on product. So they're
yeah,
they're shooting like a picture, like let's say your daughter brings home a small container of someone's makeup, you know,
mm,
a hand cream, puts it in a light box. Your son sets up the light, and they pops a picture, and then it shows for doing this. I mean, you could use them for developing a T-shirt. Do you have your own T-shirt yet, Graham?
I
A logo?
tried. I tried.
Okay, all
I
right.
tried. I tried.
That's all. That's all you can do is try.
Yeah,
I'm
I tried. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. So with this weekend, what are you going to plan? You got any, did you, or have you been able to make any plans for this weekend now?
No, it's a lazy weekend. Every weekend is a lazy weekend besides
Really?
working.
Now, how far away are you from the coastline?
Pretty close. Pretty close. I
I mean,
think
I know
it's
you work
all
in a fit.
half an hour's drive. Then I'm at the coast. I
Okay.
do. I don't know if you see the picture behind me. If you can see that, that
Yeah.
is Cape Town itself.
Okay.
Um, so I'm pretty close to the seaside. I got two on my side. So the one sits in the what you call it now, the Indian Ocean, if I'm
Okay.
right, and the other one is on your side, to America side.
Yeah.
What you call
The
that?
Atlantic.
The Atlantic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we have a place. I normally take when I go for my walks. I normally take video of that walks where I'm walking. So sometimes on the one side of the coast, which is Simonstown or um, Molly Point, or what's the other beach now? But yeah, Glencairn or Simonstown. I mentioned Musenberg. Then on the other side, which is the more tourist attraction side, it's Sea Point, Cape Point, that
Okay.
type of. So yeah, it's pretty nice areas to go to and just to go take a walk in.
Right.
Um, yeah, so yeah, very
And
close to the seashore.
I guess working in the fishing industry, you don't ever have a desire to go fishing, do you?
No, but I was on the big ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of my work. I think it was in 2016 and 2019, 2018, round about there. I was on a vessel out in sea to go see how they catch fish.
Bet you
Quite
that
a
was
big
eye
thing.
opening.
Yeah, it was eye opening. The one thing I can tell you, being out there, it's a lonely place. No
Oh,
signal, no signal whatsoever. If you have a satellite phone, yes, you in luck. But this normal cell phones or mobile phones doesn't work. So, and if you look out, it's only water.
I know. I would not do well. I get seasick in my bathtub. So I've actually gotten seasick on an air mattress in my swimming pool. So
Mm,
I don't have good balance. But I'd also be very afraid out there in the middle of nowhere. So I joined the Air Force, and I'm not a flyer. So
mm,
I'm a weather forecaster, weather observer, weather
mm,
forecaster.
mm.
I'm always around people. I'm always on the ground, and
Yeah,
I can pretty much see my enemy, and I can take a proper action. But when you're on a boat out in the middle of nowhere, man, and there are a lot of critters in the water that want to eat you, particularly around there.
yeah. Yeah, particularly around here. I
So,
don't know if you see the documentary of the megalodon.
so let
They
me ask
sit in South Africa.
you, right? What is the primary fish species that your company works in?
We call it normally hike, but they call it the original name is Capensis something.
But what is
I
that? A
know.
type of fish?
Yeah, it's whitefish. We call
Oh,
it. Some
okay,
people would call it whitefish,
okay.
but we call it hike in our case. And then you would hear about haddock, which is
Oh, haddock. Yeah.
yeah, which is hake, which is colored
Okay.
in orange.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I was asking because I've really been interested in more in mackerel and in
Mm, yeah.
the sardines.
Mm. Yeah, we catch a lot of mackerel this side of the world as well. So yeah.
Yes. No, that's
Uh-huh.
really good for a carnivore.
Mm.
I don't know if you like it at all.
Maybe I ate it. I don't know. I don't eat a lot of seafood. There's a reason why as well. I'm a bit allergic to shellfish.
Okay.
So like lobsters and what's the other one?
Shrimp and stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
if
why
you're
I say
allergic,
normally.
don't eat it.
Yeah, normally I make a joke and say I'm a shellfish person, so that's why I'm allergic.
Oh, you're cracking me up, Graham. Now, Graham, you've got an accent. What other language do you speak?
My other language is Afrikaans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the other language. But in our country, there's also Xhosa, which I can't speak. I can maybe greet you in Xhosa and ask you how are you, but I can't speak it. Then there's Tswane and there's Sotho, there's Zulu. We got 11 languages, official languages. So
Yeah.
can you
Okay.
imagine? And I only know two of it.
Well, it sounds a lot like up in like Canada or in a lot
Yeah.
of European, like in a lot of European countries. It's like that. I've spent 12 years living in Germany on and
Mm-hmm.
off with the military, and every time I lived near a German town that maybe bordered with Italian. You have regular German, you have High German, and then you'd have what they speak there has a little bit of Italian influence in it, right? And then if I moved and I was over by France, it'd be that way. If I was over in another country, so it changed a little bit with a lot of dialects and very challenging for me. But it was wonderful to hear that because I grew up in West Texas.
Okay.
It's a pretty big place, and uh, uh, you drive and drive and drive for days and only hit one or two towns. It's like kind of like almost how I think Lindy must feel growing up in Australia.
Mm.
Yeah, you can go a long time before you see other people, and then you
Mm.
go over to a place in Europe and you drive 10 miles and you've gone past five towns and the people in each town are like, "Wow, where are you from?" "Well, I'm from
Mm.
4 towns away." "Well, why are you here?" You know, and people. I don't know how it is there, and I know that politically there's been a lot of upheaval in South Africa lately.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
social challenges in South Africa lately.
Yeah. We got our election coming up, so
Ugh.
that everybody is now like saying things that promises and all these and trying to pull each other's hairs out. So yeah, it's one of those things that I
Really
think
ugly.
every country experience. Yeah, and yeah, I can't say any more about the country.
Well, no,
That
I,
yes,
I I understand. I was in politics for a while, and
uh-huh.
I know about running campaigns. I know about the dirty fighting, and I didn't
Mm,
like any of it. Matter of fact, it's one of the reasons I got out. I got out a little early, is I was like, it didn't work well with me. I wasn't flourishing,
mm,
in that environment, and but I miss a lot about it because you get to help a lot of people when you're in office.
mm.
Sometimes people say, "Oh, if I had control and I could change
This is
things, this is what I would do." Well, I was there, so I had a chance, and I didn't get to do half of what I thought I could do, but
mm,
it was very interesting, and I think everybody should try it once so they won't
mm,
complain. I think a lot of people, and we know this from the carnivore diet, I think a lot of people who are outside of things have no idea what it is to be inside.
yeah,
Yeah, like people who've never had children don't know what it's like to be a parent, right?
exactly.
And
Yep.
and and people who've never tried carnivore don't know what it's like to be in carnivore, and whatever you do, any example works the same. It's hard to sometimes um, educate. I don't know if that's the right word, but at least illuminate so people
Mm,
have better understanding. It's really a challenge sometimes.
yeah.
And then people inside whatever you do in a fight. So we have parents who fight parents, right?
Mm.
We have carnivores who fight carnivores who
On the
fight
board, exactly.
fight. Then you fight vegans. So we're all in the diet world, but we're so polarized.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. What gets me is when somebody I'm in on a Facebook group as well, and when somebody says they've eaten this and that, and now another person says, but that's not carnivore. I'm like, come on, we're here to help each other. We're here to assist. We're trying to get the message across. Don't chase the person away. Do
Right.
it. do it with love and say, yes, that is great. You're the captain of your ship. Um, hence you feeling maybe this way, you eating that,
Yeah.
but you're the captain of your ship. We can't say to you, but don't go out there and say you're not a carnivore.
Right.
And that hurts. For me, it hurts because I feel it as well.
Right.
It's like you're having a YouTube video out and somebody come say that meal that you had isn't a carnivore meal. Who cares? I ate it.
Yeah. I think you're right. And if we weren't so, I like to look at things sometimes and think about what if I was talking uh, and sharing with somebody else. So it was somebody else's experience, my experience, but I say it's somebody else's. Because, we
Mm,
can always look at other people and give them suggestions. We can always correct them. We always have ideas, right? But when it's us, we're like, no, 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 no. So I like to project it and make it a third person. Say, okay, how would how would I tell a person who just got a negative comment about their meal, right?
mm,
Even though it's me and my meal, but how would I tell another person they should interpret it? And I'll say
mm,
something like, hey, they don't know where you've been. They don't know your journey. They're not on your boat.
mm.
Don't give them free rent in your mind, you know? And then I go back and I bring it back to myself and I say, so there you are. There's your answer, but I know that with YouTube, or any social media,
Yeah.
we tend to surrender our joy to everybody. You know,
Mm,
like I look up here and I see that I'm showing nobody watching, right? Or I get no comments, or I get something. I feel I could get depressed, and I have a lot of anxiety already, and so I have to keep telling myself that's not what this is about. I'm not chasing likes. I'm not
yeah.
chasing subscriptions. I want them,
That's all
but I'm
my
not.
values. That's my values. I tend not to say please subscribe or stuff like that or press the like button. I don't want to say that because that's just not why I'm here. I'm here to spread the word about the carnivore diet,
Right,
saying this is what happened to me.
right.
This is my story.
Well, and,
And
and and I think that's what resonates with people. I think,
mm,
I think, uh, I think a lot of people can sense a snake oil salesman. They can sense when you're not authentic or genuine, and
exactly.
and they're out. I also think that a lot of people who are surfing on um, YouTube, because I do it all the time. I mean, they make real quick decisions.
Yeah.
I see two guys talking. I got nothing. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or they see animals and they love it. Everybody knows what they love, right? They know what they like, and they pass over everything that doesn't absolutely um, trip their trigger. They
Mm,
don't take and linger and stop. Because I've had some people. I was doing. I don't know if you've ever heard of Twitch.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm a gamer, so I would know.
oh, okay. Okay. I try to be a gamer. I'm just no good at it. I have a
Me
Twitch.
either.
I did Twitch, and I've got the gaming stuff. I got a gaming computer that I do this with. But
Yeah.
my favorite game for a while back was Valheim. But
Mm,
um, I notice a lot of people on Twitch who are well, not aligned with me. Okay,
mm,
not aligned with my moral direction and things like that.
yeah.
And I was blowing right by him. Right, I don't want to deal with that. But I
Mm,
stopped. I started listening to some, and I said, if I take out 20% of what you're saying, I really like the 80%. I can really learn something from this person, right?
exactly.
But I don't think a lot of people are into that. But I like
Mm,
that stuff. I like learning, and if I can learn something from someone
mm,
else, I'll grant you the grace to be a jerk to learn something. Kind of like when you go to school, right?
mm,
Not every teacher was a wonderful teacher. Not every
yeah.
teacher was a wonderful person. but they
Mm,
could teach their subject really well.
mm,
I think that's how life is, and I think that's kind of how you're saying here. You're just
mm,
here to share your story. You're here to maybe impact one person
mm-hmm.
to really have um, a fundamental shift in how they look at food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what?
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you. So where I would also say, since I've watched your shows back in the day, yeah, in end of let me say end of 2023, what I liked was the Christian value also bringing in, and I like the sense that for me it was like I'm also a Christian, and the carnivore diet, since I prayed about that God should send me something, some way and of losing weight.
Right.
Um, this popped onto my screen. I never heard of the carnivore diet before March of 2023, and I heard people say it's out already in 2017. So for me, it was like a voice from God, and when I listen, I hear His voice and say, "You need to try it." And I'm also a person that likes to try things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like this journey started with Christianity or a Christian value attached to it because it's a prayer being answered and seeing the effects of it as well. Um, that is also something where I would say, wow, this is something from the Lord, basically. This type of eating. And if you
Right.
start eating the word and stuff, and you will start finding out, and that's what I valued from your channel in the first place, where you try and bring the two. For me, it was like you trying to bring the two across. I don't know,
Well,
but
for me, it's for me. It's not separating. Okay,
mm,
because I think if we talk about our health and we talk about um, uh, change that's going on in our bodies, I think a lot of it has to you don't want to set up conflict within yourself.
mm,
And so when you deny who you are, when you deny what's important to you, you're setting up conflict. And when you
mm,
set up conflict, that's like saying, "Hey, I'd like to go walk 20 miles, but I'm going to put 10 pounds of rocks in my pockets." Right? I mean, you're not helping yourself. So,
mm.
my faith is a big part of who I am. It's what I
Yeah,
spend probably 40% of my waking hours are devoted in that area. If I try to parse them and put them in different parking lots, I'm already
mm,
creating a challenge for myself. I think
mm,
a lot of things, like, I think that's what scripturally we're told is like you're supposed to not deny who you are, but take it to the cross and let that be taken care of, right? But we do
exactly. Yeah,
too much. We're always like, I'm in so much control of my world. I am so responsible for everything in my world that I can even control that aspect of my life. And you're setting yourself up for disappointment and failure.
yeah.
So
You,
I don't ever run away from it. But by the same token, I won't. I've never appreciated people who beat me over the head with the scripture either. You know,
mm,
um, you can be very direct, you can be very forceful, you can be very open about it, but
yeah,
without bludgeoning people. People should see it in the way you speak, in your actions, how you
exactly.
treat people, and if you do it that way, that gives you that authenticity. That gives you the credibility. Um,
Mm,
because anybody can use any words, and a lot of people do.
exactly.
And I think,
Exactly.
and if you look at this way of eating, it is very scriptural. You know,
Mm,
the Daniel diet, right? The way, yeah,
mm.
he did that for a limited period of time for a very specific purpose, right? But
Purpose. Yeah. Mm,
that again, you can't cherry pick, right? And that's what people will do with scripture, and that's what people do with their diet too. Have you noticed that? Hey,
yeah.
I'm eating healthy because I'm eating from the three food groups, and the government told me, and the really pretty people on TV told me. So I'm. What they're doing is they're releasing responsibility. I think, you
Mm,
know, and that's another big part. And I think in our lives that we don't talk about enough here in carnivore or anywhere else about responsibility and
mm,
not maybe culpability, but consequences. You have choices. You can choose. Now, tell me where you've heard this before. You can choose this way or that way. One leads to life, and one to death.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
exactly.
That that that, that model is replicated throughout our entire life,
Yeah.
and when you deny part of it, or when you overemphasize part of it, I think you're setting up roadblocks to success.
Mm, yeah, I agree, Scott. I
So,
agree totally.
so anyhow, but so I don't run from it. I
Mm,
remember one time I did have a stream, and we had someone in the stream who was kind of trying to say no to it, and I was
mm,
like, "You are entitled to your opinion, and you
exactly.
may express it here, but
Yeah.
please don't denigrate others who hold to that opinion, and we won't denigrate you for not, because honestly, this is one of my hardest parts in my walk, right, is to remember how you were saying you're the captain of your ship.
Yeah, that one is like something which we would say,
Right. But
yeah.
I can't be saved for you. I
Mm,
can't do anything. I can help. I can love on you. I can be a partner in things like you said. I think was it last night, a navigator on your
yeah,
journey. But I
I was
can't.
referring to your wife.
Yeah, I, c-
She's your navigator.
I can't be the captain. And once I really, that's like with children. I was just telling my son, my oldest boy,
Mm,
is having some challenges with some children, and I said to him, you have to play the long game. You get angry, you got to take the hits. The kid's going to hurt you, and you just got to take it because you're the grown up. You don't get to lash back. But I said,
yeah,
3 weeks ago, I got a chance to go baptize my granddaughter, and
that's lovely.
my daughter is actually my from my wife's first marriage,
Oh,
and I adopted her, and we went through a whole life, and she had her biological father, and I never spoke ill of him. I never denied him. I never whatever, because I'm not playing to win a teenage girl's heart.
oh, exactly. Yeah.
For this woman, the girl, to grow up to a woman, to be a mother, to be who she can be. And the last thing she needs is some jerk like me saying something bad and making drama, right?
Mm,
And I was rewarded by being invited and said, "Dad, will you come up and baptize our daughter?"
amen.
Now, right? Right?
That's
I
awesome.
tell my boy this too. I'm saying, you've got to remember, everybody's going to go on their own journey. Do you want to be remembered as a jerk? You have Sometimes parents are jerks because they let their kids do anything. That's his problem. His wife has two boys from a previous marriage, and
Mm,
those boys, when they go to dad is absent, and dad lets them do anything. I mean, they can
mm,
be on YouTube till 4 in the morning, games till 4 in the morning. He don't care.
mm.
They come to my son's house, and it's like, no, we have rules, and you need to go to
Yeah.
bed, and you need to clean up, and you need to be part of the family. But that's after that, you get everything you want. There's no spanking, there's no yelling.
Yeah.
Anyway, the part of it, I said, remember, they got to you're growing up a captain, and you've got
Mm,
to basically, you've got to be able to make sure that person, when they leave your harbor, they have all the tools they need
yeah.
to be successful. Some things you can show them, some things you can't. Just like here in carnivore, you can talk to your blue in the face and say, "Hey, it might not be a great thing for you to eat a lot of dairy,
Mm.
right?" But when they realize it, they'll learn it. So
They'll
sometimes
learn.
it's learning how to learn. Is that
Mm.
fair to say?
Yeah, we learn every day. That's why they say that saying.
Yeah.
We learned something new today, so that's where it comes from.
Well, you hope you do, right?
Mm,
I
yeah.
mean, I think a lot of people are get complacent.
Mm,
They're just like, eh. Like me, I was getting complacent with this whole YouTube thing, and I had to remember why I'm doing it, and 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 what does it bring, and not to expect too much out of it. I think that's the hard part in life. If a lot of times we say, if I can't have this brand new house, brand new car, brand new job, I don't want anything,
mm,
and that's not a good a good mental outlook at all.
mm.
So good. So what's your next big goals over the next 3 to 6 months with carnivore? Do you have like I'm gonna go to Carnivore Kips meetup. That's a big goal of mine to go meet
Mhm.
some people personally. But do you have a goal? Any kind of goal over the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, in South Africa, we have carnivores, but I would like to meet some. That is one of the biggest things where I would like to say, let's have a meetup somewhere.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm wanting to do and looking forward to. But yeah, the community currently, I'm still feeling my way through the South African community.
Okay.
Because yes, they big. I know they're big. I can see the numbers on Facebook. Um, but they like in the whole of South Africa, and I'm only here at Cape Town's area, so I don't know how big is the community here. But
Hmm.
it would be nice as a
Yeah.
goal, um, to start meeting up and chatting with other fellows,
Yeah.
carnivores, yeah, get together and stuff like that. And yes,
Yeah.
I do have a few friends in South Africa now that contacted me.
Okay.
So and we like contact each other or talk to each other. So by
Hmm.
the way, type of thing every time, how are you and how's things going? So yeah,
I think that'd be great. That'd be great. Now, are you getting? Do you like to take vacations? I mean, I don't know where you're at in your life. What are you about? Are you about, let's say, 45 years old?
no,
40?
no,
60?
no,
Holy man.
50, 50, 50.
You're 50? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put you any older than you were. Obviously you're blessed with youthful features, so that's a plus. Um, no, I didn't know if you're in a point in life where you can, like, maybe planning vacations and stuff. When I was in Europe, I know that vacation planning is a big thing for a lot of people in Europe. I didn't know for
Mm,
South Africa about your cultural norm for, like, you and the wife and the kids want to go somewhere different. I mean, it's a long
yeah.
trip to go anywhere.
Not here. We had our vacation. Let me just see. On the 14th of February, it was me and my wife's anniversary. We were 26 years married.
How many?
So we 26, 26.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that was on Valentine's Day. So we went away, and then the weekend we went to a place called Hermanus, which is like a nice, relaxing place close to the shore as well.
Okay.
And the thing there is the sightseeing there is whale watching, but there's no whales currently there. And they come a certain month or so, two I think 2 months, they have this whale festival in Hermanus.
Right.
So but yeah, it was awesome. But we don't really plan our things. We would say, okay, we're going away maybe, um like normally for us was normally Valentine's Day. So then we would decide maybe we will go away maybe July of August. And this is now when winter
Yep.
is finishing off into spring. So normally that time, so it's always out of peak holidays,
Right.
which is peak holidays is your Christmas, is your school holidays. We normally go
Right.
out of it so that it's much cheaper also to go to.
Sure. Yeah. 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 I know.
Yeah. So yeah, and especially in winter.
So do you have no, no, how about in your carnivore goals? Do you have, they keep telling us, once you get to a goal, set another goal. Have you set any new goals for the next 6 months?
My one goal for this year is to build muscle.
Oh,
Yeah, I lost such a lot of weight. For me, it's a lot of weight, and people say I'm looking skinny.
Okay.
That's what they say, but I say I'm still having a little bit of fat, but some would say it's loose skin. But for me, it's like what
Mhm.
I've experienced currently. Currently, I'm experiencing when I lay on my sides, my arms, this side would pain. So now this they say there's no more fat there.
Mhm.
so, so that's what I'm experiencing currently. And with this one finger, pinky,
Yeah.
this pinky, there's a pain here. So I'm still trying to figure out why is it paining. So,
Well, I mean, it could be a beginning of arthritis. You're old enough to have a beginning of arthritis, and
but what did they say? They say
yeah.
carnivore heals it. So,
Well, it can do. I think it can do so much. I think the I think like I have a little here, and then I had a car accident about a month ago, and I'm having
hmm
problems with these fingers. But I think what happens to us is there's a lot of healing that has to go on in a lot of places in our bodies, and it may
mm,
take 2 or 3 years to
yeah,
where it goes. And I think the body works on a hierarchy. So the worst things like high blood pressure, it gets taken care of first, right?
yeah,
And hormonal problems, maybe. I think bone issues are probably going to be our last ones. And also, hello and welcome, by the way, everybody. I think that with our way of eating, our
mm,
our tissue and bones, particularly our organs, are going through some transformational things. Our body robs our bones for calcium and it robs it for
exactly.
magnesium. So maybe part of this is an indication that you might need to supplement with some other food groups to improve that. So what's DC having to say? And by the way, hello DC, how you doing? Welcome. DC said, "Can be something that can be fixed with physical therapy, cartilage and knee." Oh, okay. I bet you. I bet you if you don't have cartilage. Hey there, Big John. How you doing? Getting ready for a doctor's
Hi,
appointment.
Big John.
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, I think
Shout
though,
out.
Graham. I think that I don't know. Do you make or do you use or have any bone broth in your diet?
I stopped that basically.
Okay.
At first, when I started, I had bone broth. That was my new coffee, as we would say, the new coffee.
Hmm.
so
Well,
I stopped that.
I'm just thinking maybe if you were to give yourself some more um, cartilage. So, now, okay, you eat a lot. Do you eat a lot of eggs?
I'm
Do you eat it?
currently I'm doing. I eat eggs, but currently I'm doing lion
Okay.
basically. So,
Okay. Well, they got all those pills for chondroitin, right?
mm,
Well, if you crack an egg and pour your egg out, and then you wash it out a little bit, there's a little film inside the egg. If
mm-hmm,
you peel that out, wash it off. It's not very chewable, so you'll have to just like make it into a pill and swallow it. That give you more chondroitin and good stuff for your joints
mm,
than you'd ever get from the pills. It's all bioavailable. So when you crack the egg,
yeah,
I used to peel that out. Then it really helped me with my arthritic pain. And I would just very, very, it's not easy, but peel out that little bit, and it really helped. It really helped.
yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that. I'll come back to you with that.
All right. Getting ready for doctor's appointment. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good time with the doc. Don't let the doctors get you down, brother.
hmm
DC. Anyway, I'm building muscle and impressive doing carbs. They say I need carbs for. Um, well, I think DC. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to doctor school, but I did take the study and the exam for the National Academy of Sports Medicine for being a trainer, a sports trainer. And I would say that um, muscle is built by protein and protein alone. That's all that a muscle is made out of is different proteins. What goes inside the muscle cell, that muscle fiber, will be glycogen, right? So you'll see that a lot of times with bodybuilders when they're or heavy weightlifters.
Mm.
Their muscles will volumize. And then when they're no longer eating and training the same, the body says, I don't want to carry around this mass. This is too much work, too much metabolic. And they go through atrophy. Just like a fat cell. Fat cells grow. You eat too much fat, you eat too much, you get too much of triglycerides, your body's stuffing them in, we know all about that. We're really willing to accept that a fat cell will grow. I think they say fat cells will grow to a certain size, and after so many of them start leaking so many triglycerides, and you have so many negative consequences from too much fat, your body will actually go out and build new fat cells. But when we start to reduce our calories and we start to eat proper and we start to exercise and we start to uh, shrink the reserve, it's just like an air mattress. Those
Mm.
those cells they go down just like a stomach would go down, and they'll shrink. But the elasticity and the availability is always there. So as soon as you start eating it, they'll just blow right back up. It doesn't mean you have. I think we have this mental image that we're constantly
Mm.
building additional new cells, and we're not. The body is programmed. This is how many cells you have of this kind. This is what we're going to do with it. If you run low, I got some stuff we can make some more. But this whole idea is we're not really um, building a lot of new muscles, but new cells. Now, for muscle building, when you tear the fibers, the body does go through. That's how it responds to the stress.
Mm.
But the carbohydrates are just the energy that you use to insert. It's like blowing into an air mattress. When you eat a lot of carbs and you bulk up and you have all that, and you get a nice big muscle and you're big old powerful
Hello.
strong,
Mm.
doesn't necessarily mean that you have tripled the number of muscle cells. You just have made some new ones, but the ones you have gotten bigger. That's why a lot of guys and women, when you get big real quick, you end up having stretch marks. And when you go back to normal, you see all these stretch marks in the shoulders and everything. It's because you got big quick. You didn't have the elasticity in your skin, and when you get down, well, there you go. You get to deal with the stripes. All right, DC, what do you got? You're 45, 1 year carnivore from. Oh, cool. Lost 30 kilograms. So that's like 70 pounds, right? 75 pounds.
Mm.
I work out 3 weeks ago, and I'm getting visible. We're getting jacked so fast. Okay. Wow. Congratulations.
Awesome.
I would love that. That's great. Hey, DC, do you get any blood tests done along the way in your carnivore journey? Because like for testosterone levels. And Graham, did you ever get any of that measured out?
Yeah. All is good. All
Yeah.
is good.
Hey, I gotta tell you, I self-identified myself as having potentially having low testosterone
Mhm.
because I was to cut to the chase. I was very moody.
Mm.
And one of the big things about mood swings for men is testosterone levels.
That is low. Mm.
And so I went to the doctor and said, "No, you're a big, strapping man, great big manly beard. Burp, 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 burp. You're fine." I said, test it." They tested it, and they started me on hormone therapy immediately.
Mm.
My testosterone was through the floor.
Low. Okay.
Right. So I did the testosterone cream, and it made my testosterone go up, and I got much more aggravated. I was less emotional, but more aggravated. Does that make sense? My wife said I took too many risks. I do risky driving. I do risky stuff.
Uh,
And so after a couple of years, like 3 or 4 years of it, and I don't mean to be too revealing, but there are parts of your anatomy that make testosterone. And when you give your body exogenous testosterone, your body says, "Oh, I don't have to make it anymore. See you later." All of a sudden,
Jesus.
I'm like, "What happened here?"
Uh,
And so I decided to go off the testosterone, and then
mhm.
I started the carnivore diet. And when I went off the testosterone, it didn't really help me at all. But when I went to carnivore and I went off testosterone, and I just got tested last year, my testosterone is in the normal. It's kind of low, but it's still in the normal range, right? So
Mhm.
that, and oh, by the way, what used to make the testosterone is now having to make it and have reinflated. So just let that be right there. But the issue there is um, the carnivore diet returned my testosterone to normal levels. Now, I
Mm,
had to figure out, why did my testosterone go so low, right?
mm,
And as I did more reading, I found out, well, when you're fatty, right? You can't absorb a vitamin. You don't make vitamin D very well, and you don't
mm.
absorb it into your bloodstream because it's a fat
Bloodstream, yeah.
soluble. It's actually, vitamin D is actually a hormone. Most people don't realize
Mhm,
it's not a vitamin; it's a hormone. But that vitamin D isn't available for you to use. I said, wow. So being over fat has really caused me a challenge
mm,
with my vitamin D. What about this? So I started doing more research into that type of area, and I found, well, being fat also, hate to say it, but if you have other things you imbibe in, like if you drink too much or you smoke too much,
mm,
that can impact it too, because it has a hormonal response. So anyway, altogether, I stopped a lot of things and ate a lot of meat, but I wasn't eating as much fat. I'm gonna be real interested to see what my testosterone is this year. Now
mm.
that I'm eating more fat too, right,
Yeah.
and providing the backbone to make it on.
It's gonna be interesting.
Okay, DC. No, I hated to be tested unless I know. But anyway, I'm training fasted, train short, and super intense. All right, that's the way to do it. And you sprint a couple times a week. I bet you it does. I mean, every guy's got to figure out what's their normal, right? I think that's the
Yeah,
other thing we learned in carnivore, right? Your normal is going to be different from my normal.
exactly. Yes. For me, if I look at what did you say, exercise, I'm not the person for exercise. That's my normal.
I get it. I used to love to exercise. I When I was in the military, that's all I did is I exercise, and I didn't want to get really big, and I didn't, but I love to do like powerlifting,
Hmm.
but also I like to play basketball and racquetball, and
Mm,
and volleyball too a little bit. So those don't go with being really huge. So I'm always a big guy. I mean, as an adult, I've always carried at least 200 pounds of lean mass on my body. Every time
mm,
they measure me, I'm a 200 to 205, 210 pounds of lean mass,
mm.
right? Like I said, I'm 6'5". I got a big fat head. I mean,
Yeah,
I can pack on the weight. So
yeah.
I've always been big. That makes it real hard too to eat enough protein. You know how hard it is to eat protein for a person that's 200 plus pounds of lean tissue? I'm supposed to eat 200 to 250 grams a day of protein.
Yeah. Mm,
That's not easy. That's
mm.
2.5, 3 pounds of meat a day. I
Yeah.
No bueno. Not doing too expensive.
Too expensive. Yeah.
All right, John. Increase egg. Yep, that's good.
Can take up.
6 to 8 per meal. 5-day egg fat. When you say 6 to 8 eggs per meal, is that on OMAD or are you
Oh,
too mad?
man.
I would think that'd be OMAD, right? I hope, because otherwise that's like, well, Todd said when he did the priming thing from the steak and butter gang. Did you hear what Todd and Lindy said about that, Graham?
I heard about priming, but I don't know what they say. What did they say about it?
They're eating like 30 eggs a day.
Okay. It rings a bell. I think I heard when he forced with some other person. I
Yeah.
wondered was it Bella herself
Yeah, Bella. Yeah.
that spoke about 24 eggs a day, and I'm like, what? It doesn't sound normal, but that's how
I
the carnivore diet is.
I tried that and I know I can drink 24 eggs a lot quicker than I can eat it. That's for sure, you know what I mean?
I'm going up to 4 and 5 eggs. That's it. That's the max for me.
Now, have you ever when you go back to them, separate them? Separate your eggs, right?
No, it's
Well, I'm just saying,
for
just
the
try it. You
uh,
separate your eggs, and each of 4 or 5 eggs you're going to eat. Then crack 3 or 4 eggs and put the whites in a container and put the yellows in a cup, a shaker cup, right? And then,
mhm,
like you do to mix protein or something with a little
yeah.
bullet. And then put a little heavy cream in there, And
Mhm.
if you want to, you can put some apple spice. If you want spice, I don't know if you do spices at all, but like cinnamon or whatever, right? But
Uh-huh.
put some heavy cream in and a little bit of water. Shake it up real good. It's like an eggnog. I love it. It's great, and you get all the nutrition that's in an egg yolk. And since you didn't heat it up, you'll get all that vitamin B because I think heat destroys vitamin B, all the
Okay.
vitamin Bs. But you can drink your egg yolks, right? And
Mhm.
then you take your egg whites and you can mix them into something else. Like what I would do is let's say I take 6 eggs. I'd take the yolks out of 4 eggs, put them in a cup, and put the
Mhm.
whites in a pan with 2 whole eggs. And then I
Mm.
mix them up like for scrambled eggs. And that way they look more normal, like regular, just, scrambled eggs. But
Yeah.
I could definitely, that's like, I could definitely do that. But one of the things I think I was doing wrong, and this is what Steak and Butter Gal and them was saying in the video I watched yesterday, I think, or day before, I was spiking my insulin because what
Mhm.
I would do is I would take like chicken breasts and cook them up, right? A good source of protein. I know better now as a carnivore, that it's not the best source, but
Mm.
in my old way of thinking, I said, well, if I need to get 200 grams of protein a day, I've got to, find a way to not always be chewing, right? So I cooked my chicken breasts up, and I poured the grease and whatever into a blender, cut
Mhm.
the chicken up, and put it in the grease with some water.
Mhm.
And I blended the chicken for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right?
Okay.
And I made a chicken
Mhm.
smoothie. And then I would
Wow.
I'd add, I'd add heavy cream. I'd add some butter, salt and pepper, and it's like a chicken cream of chicken soup. Just a little gritty. And
Mhm.
I could drink 2 chicken breasts in about a minute.
Mm.
You know,
Wow. Wow.
but doing that spiked my sugars, like
Sugars.
because
Mm.
I wasn't having any carbs. So my body said,
Mm.
"Wow, we can make a lot of carbs out of all this extra protein." I don't think I did myself any favors. So now I'm going to
Mm.
go back down. I try to only have a quarter pound, maybe a little bit more, a quarter pound to a half pound of meat in a meal.
Mhm.
So I'm only trying to keep my protein maybe around 30 to 40 grams. Because like for you, 30 or 40 grams might be the top because you weigh 155 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm 2 times your size. So I get to eat a
Mm.
little bit more.
Mm. Yeah, but if I look what I'm eating, it's like a lot. But I'm only eating once a day, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that meal is nothing because I eat till I'm full, and that's it.
Now, how does your family do? Does your wife do OMAD or does she eat through the day? Is she too mad?
She might eat twice a day, but
Oh,
a first meal is something small, and a second meal would be something big.
right. That's
Mm.
like most Europeans. When I go, like I said, I spend so much time there. That's what they normally have a small breakfast, a
Mhm.
great big huge big lunch or late lunch, and then
Yes.
nighttime that snack on some meat and cheese. Right.
Mm. Yeah.
What they do, and a lot of people don't do, they go for a walk. I like they'll eat, they'll visit, they'll talk, they'll do the dishes, and then they'll go
Mm.
for a walk. So, like 45 minutes after eating, an hour after eating, they go for a leisurely walk. And I tell
Mm.
you what, um, not all, most of the old German people I met, when I mean old, like 80 and over, right?
Yeah.
Their skin never tears. They weren't getting bruises,
Mm.
and they were seriously strong. But they didn't look sexy. They didn't look. I mean, thin and lithe. Like a
Yeah.
runway model. And I think that's pretty much what has really, along with statins. I think statins are the devil's spit. Um, I think this whole idea that when I'm 80 years old, I have to look like Raquel Welch did when she was 20, or like
Mm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, or something like that, right?
Mm.
That's just not reality for 90% of people.
Mm.
I
Mm.
think I'd rather be fit. I'd rather be able to bend down and pick up my great grandchild, or throw a ball to my great grandchild. See, my grandchildren now are roughly 11 years old. So I have seven of them, and I have
Mm,
they're 11 on down. And so my 11-year-old granddaughter, the one who I just baptized,
yeah.
very conceivable in 10 years she could be married and having a baby. So I'll be 75 years old. I don't want to be like too afraid to hold the great grandbaby, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah, when I look at it, I look at always my parents. Um, when my father passed away, I think 69, um, and not seeing my daughter really grow up. He's just so, and what's sad for me, he passed very early in her life. Okay, for me, I was older already, I got kids, but then my mom passed away 10 years thereafter. Because she now saw my daughter, and but the sad part is I was looking at that and say, do I want to do that? I want to see my grandkids. I want to see
Right.
those things. Yeah, so I was looking at that, and the way I would
Motivating
say,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, I was deteriorating. For me, I say I was deteriorating with
Right.
the way I was eating, trying all kinds of things. That was for me and getting to that point where you say, no, it's enough, is enough. I just want something that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and with the amazing weight loss, which was like the biggest plus the like you say the non-scale benefit from
Hmm.
this whole experience on the carnival, that like give me hope.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
yeah, give me hope because yes, my father, um he was a diabetic.
Oh,
He at age 50 already. Um he had a heart attack already.
oh,
Before that, he had a triple bypass between 50 and 60. So looking at that, and then my mom coming in with hypertension as well, having a stroke in 2007, I think. Yeah, 2007.
hmm,
Going through that also, where they say your mom is not going to be,
the same.
she's the same, she's lame and she's not going to walk properly, and you need to look after that type of thing. And then recovery was amazing. God's grace over her life.
Yeah.
She walks, she can talk. The only thing that was funny is she used to speak English, but after the stroke, it was like she can only speak Afrikaans, which is the other.
Well, hey, if you have to lose something, that's a better thing to lose than the ability to walk.
Yeah, and she was like herself, basically capable of doing things again for
Good.
herself.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
yeah, and yeah, so for me, looking back at their lives and this sickness, I said to myself, my big motivators, I don't want to go there. And having statins and reading up as to yes, I'm going there. That was the biggest shocker for me.
Yeah.
It's like I had poison. I'm poisoning myself to get there where they are.
You know, what bothers me about the whole statin conversation is they give you statins because they see your cholesterol isn't right. Okay.
Yeah. Your
But what is
overall cholesterol.
but what does statin do? Statin interferes with the body's ability to process ingested cholesterol, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is your brain made of? Cholesterol. What are the nerves wrapped in? What is myelin made out of?
Mm,
Cholesterol.
cholesterol.
What are 50% of your hormones made out of?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. And we just gave you a medicine that
Mm,
interrupts that. And we wonder why there's so much dementia, Alzheimer's,
mm,
so many
mm,
mental acuity issues. Why does the skin tear? What is it under your skin? Cholesterol.
mm.
Basically, your body fat is the same composition almost as butter.
Yeah.
Cholesterol. and we're interrupting it, and we're ruining lives to make money. And I hope one day that there is enough courage in the medical community and the legal community to put a stop to statins and to do like they did with cigarettes. You know, doctors used to stand there and go, "Oh, I had mine with martini.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly healthy. You should be too." No, but that all that aside, we're responsible. If we have the knowledge, we're responsible. And I can't be responsible for anybody else, but at least I can give a little bit of airtime to it. But now DC is saying he does 2 grams of protein, body weight in kilograms, so 170, 180 grams, but in 2 to 3 meals. So yeah, so 60 grams a meal, which is about the maximum they say you can digest in 2 hours, because food spends about 2 hours in the stomach before it goes and then on into the duodenum. Then it goes in through the small intestines and all that. So that sounds like a wonderful, good thing. I was wanting to hear, and I think I mentioned it yesterday, I would love to hear Dr. Chafee or Dr. Berry or any of the other doctors, even Dr. Bright. I would love to have them tell me how many grams of essential amino acids do I have to get a day, right? Because I think we eat all this protein each day to ensure we get enough essential amino acids, right? And but in your body, going through autophagy and all the protein turnover in your body turns over 300 grams of protein a day. Most people don't know that. That your body is going through all that protein every day, and you're eating the additional 100 grams. So you're getting totally 400 grams to ensure you get enough of the essentials and to do all the repair. So if I was doing a protein sparing modified fast, like they do in some places, so you don't eat anything, but you get up to 500 calories of protein in a day, and you'll still stay in a quote unquote fasted state, not a pure fasted, but a fasted state. How much do I can, and where can I get those amino acids? Can I get them in a proper ratio from a pill, or am I just better off eating 3 eggs every day? You know, that's what I'm kind of thinking about. It'd be nice to have that conversation, because I think some people just say I got to eat 3 pounds or 2 pounds of meat. No, you don't have to eat that much. You might only need to eat 3/4 of a 3/4 pound patties in a day for 160-pound woman might be just enough, you know, for a man who's not doing anything, who's not working out, not like DC working out, you know, if you're not trying to go into a growth phase, maybe that would be way too little.
Yeah.
I don't know. I asked Dr. Chafee, because I remember one time I did get a question into him about stearic acid. I don't know if you remember.
I remember that.
And I think it was impolite, and I caught him off guard. But now that it's been 4 months, I'd love to hear, because I bought pure stearic acid. And stearic acid is one of the few saturated fats that actually has its own dedicated sensor in every mitochondria. So stearic acid, when it meets up and joins up with the mitochondria, right? It takes about 2 to 3 hours after ingestion. You get that stearic acid, and the mitochondrial function improves 150 to 225%. It does so many wonderful things for mitochondrial health and function. They use it a lot for people with Alzheimer's, because it's really helpful for things. They're using it for actual treatment now. And if you back out from the small part, i.e. the stearic acid, and you go, well, what has stearic acid? Well, beef, lamb, ruminant meat, but butter has a very high concentration of stearic acid. So when we eat our meat and we don't put other stuff in it to get in the way, right? Like the phytonutrients and all the stuff that comes from plants, when we don't put anything in the way, and the body can metabolize all that stuff and get it to where it needs to go, maybe that's why we have so much energy
Mm,
as it's not meat, it's a part of meat. It's that stearic acid finally getting to the mitochondria, and now all of a sudden we feel energized and
energize.
rejuvenated. So add a little bit of stearic acid to your food and improve the amount. You know how we now know that your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is really important.
Mm,
And we get way too much omega-6 in our diet
mhm,
and not enough
mm,
omega-3, right? Well, I'd like that conversation to say you're getting lots of all these other proteins, but you need that taurine and you need that alanine and you need this stearic acid, whatever it is. But I want to hear more conversations that point to stearic acid because you go on your Google machine and if you were to Google up the croissant diet, all right,
mm,
a gentleman who has like multiple advanced degrees. Uh, uh, he came up with it because he went through this whole thing, and that's where I got most of the information to begin with from. And he was a chef, and he made
mm,
his own croissants by hand with good butter and good flour, and he added
mm,
more stearic acid to it, right? And he lost 12 pounds in a couple of months eating croissants.
mm,
I was all about that, right? But
mm,
it's really interesting to think about that if you can do that. And cocoa butter has the highest natural concentration of stearic acid. 50+ % of cocoa butter is full of stearic acid. So I used to put that in my coffee.
mm.
It was good too. But anyway, there's so many conversations out there. And I'd love to ask Dr. Chafee now to really look at them, maybe get a couple of them to really pull it apart to sit there and say, maybe that's why ruminant meats are so good for us because they have a higher concentration of
That's nice.
stearic acid.
Mm.
Which leads me
Okay.
to a question, Graham. Are you still working on that documentary and getting information together and stuff?
Yeah, it's
Good.
still going on. Lynn is head of research. So yeah, it's
Good.
getting on.
Good,
Mm.
good. I know that I was included in the group, but I kind of went off the reservation and went in my own little ways, and so I haven't had any input to the group for 3 months. But that's
Well,
okay.
you still can. You still can.
Well, who's the other lady? The midlife carnivore.
Yeah, that's
What,
Lynn.
what's her name again?
Lynn.
Lynn. Yes, I
Yeah,
just
Lynn.
watched her video from yesterday. She did her measurements and
Mm.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know Lynn was because she's a nurse and did a lot of that
yeah,
type of stuff. And I said, let the professionals deal with this. I'm just kibitzing from the side.
yeah.
That's good.
Great stuff. Yeah, yeah. So we're still moving. So yeah.
Good. I think they just had a didn't they just have a live right before I started mine? They just ended theirs.
That
Raise,
was some steak
it was,
something.
raise the stakes, right?
Raise the stakes. Yeah, that's a Friday thingy. For me,
Yeah.
it's 6 o'clock the evening. So yeah, so
Yeah. So I know that they were talking about things, but I think they're talking about doing a screening for the people who are helping for the carnivore community, so you can kind of look at it and say, "Hey, this is what's working, and this isn't what's working." I don't know.
uh, not that I know.
Okay,
But yeah, we have a list of candidates
okay.
that we need to filter through, and it's like a lot. So we need to filter through and say,
Oh,
go
who you
ahead.
interviewed
Yeah,
for it? Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I tell you,
for the documentary. So yeah, it can go into a series, as they
right,
said as well, as Kerry said as well. So that is future. Let's see
right,
how the Healing Humanity documentary goes.
right.
Uh,
Hey, I've been in the movie business. I've been an actor in a lot of different little movies and a lot of different
mm-hmm,
things, and I know how long it takes to go from writing a script, getting the things together,
mm,
actually filming it, editing it, and then marketing it. All those things are. I was involved. I got involved in. Here's how long it takes. In 2015, 15, I got involved in a web series.
Mm-hmm.
I just play a bad guy, and and I did like 4 or 5 episodes in this web series. The last episode is still being polished up. That was shot
Wow.
last. It was shot over a year ago, right?
Wow.
And it takes when you don't have millions of dollars to pay people to be on it. It's tough,
Mm,
and and
mm,
and and to do something like this is a
mm.
big task,
Yeah,
and
it's a big operation.
it's a lot of work. And my hat's off to Kerry for trying it. I hope he does another 24-hour. I wonder if he'll do another 24-hour telethon. No,
I don't think so. Maybe 10, maybe 12, but 24 is too much. I think
yeah,
it's
or maybe
exhausting.
hey, do a 10-hour one.
Mm,
If you get a chance to encourage him to do that because I think that really brought the community together.
mm,
You know, and he can have half of it dedicated to um, the medical people in the field,
yeah,
and
it
he
will
can
be more structured. Yeah.
and do the other half for the success stories that we've already seen.
Mm,
For Lindsay and Todd and yourself and people who've really um, enjoyed a lot of success. If
mm-hmm,
you dedicated 5 hours, I think when I watched that 24-hour one, right?
mm,
I tried to keep it in a couple of minutes, but some people would go 15, 20 minutes, telling things. And that means you can only do 3 of them in an hour. If you want to do
yeah,
5 hours, that's only 15 people, right?
yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
Nah, I sat through the whole 24 hours. I went maybe 26 hours. So obviously, when it started, it
right.
was daytime already. Yeah, so yeah, and going through the night when it's daytime that side. It was quite fun for me. It was quite fun. Um, but there was a time when I just nodded off maybe for 5 minutes.
Or it's
Yeah,
hard.
for 5 minutes, and after that I was awake because I was doing all the tallies on that 24 hour
Right.
that came in. So
Mhm.
the donations came in, so I had to tally up and feed to the team.
Right, right, right.
So so yeah, just not the top for 5 minutes. And guess who was on it at that time? Dr. Chafee. And he can talk. He can talk.
I can't say anything. I can't say anything.
He can talk.
Well,
But
I mean,
yeah,
that's what you
but
want them
it's
for, though. Sometimes when you do things like that, you want people who can carry the load. I mean,
mm,
um, it's a gift to be able to speak, or not just to speak, but to keep a coherent thought, to be
mm,
engaging, and to
exactly.
really bring to life the topic. It's not
Yeah,
it's not easy to do I mean, I've been on for an hour and 42 minutes now.
yeah.
And I probably could do another hour, but I won't. I'll probably do about another 15 minutes and then
Mm,
give it a break. But
yeah.
it's a lot of fun to do this. But when you do it for 24 hours, that's no bueno. That's not hard. That's not good.
Mm, mm.
You
Yeah,
need you
I
need.
gonna mm, can go ahead,
I said
Scott.
you need teams of people when you do it for that long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Switching. This
Right.
one says
Right.
something. Yeah, and obviously, but it will be well programmed. But yeah, the next one would be the Montello thingy with
Yeah.
Doctor.
I just heard this. I guess we're gonna have a man on. When is that?
That I think that's the 9th of March, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's gonna be he said it's gonna be a live stream, but I understand it's Dr. Hampton live streaming into. I
Oh, okay.
understand that. So, and obviously gathering of carnivores, and
Right.
there's 32 seats still available for those who can make it.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. My cousin.
exciting stuff.
My cousin doesn't live too far away. Matter of fact, I was saying last year, right before I went carnivore,
Mm,
last June, I took a big trip at the end of June, and I went all the way from where I live in Alabama, and I went all the way up over
Mm,
the Great Lakes and went to visit a
mm,
friend. And I was within about 35 miles of Montevallo, but I didn't know anything about it. If I'd known, I'd have stopped, but I didn't know anything about
yeah,
it. Right on by, and then I came all the way back home sometime in mid July, and I'm getting in the carnivore. I'm like, I was that
that
close,
close.
and
Yeah.
but hey, it's okay. It's all right. I just think I think it's so amazing how Kerry was able to bottle lightning. He caught lightning
Mm,
in a bottle. You know, I think it's so amazing what he and the carnivore community have done for Bill Knott. You
yeah.
know, that's
Mm,
that's incredible. I I have to remind myself that um, that happened for a reason,
yeah.
and and that reason doesn't apply to me because who wouldn't like? Okay, you take care, DC. Thanks for coming by. I would love to have 14,000 subscribers, and I'd love
Mm,
to have 8,000 people watch my videos when I put them out, right?
yeah.
But that's it's not the same thing, and it's hard to keep that perspective, don't you think? Sometimes,
Yeah. It takes for me. When I look at the YouTube numbers,
yeah,
first it was first it was that 1,000 subscribers. Now they say 500. Well, better off, but now you sit with the 4,000 hours of people needing to watch your video,
right,
and that's where I say no. Only way to do that is to bring out content. And what I now see is do live streams. That helps, but again, you need people to
yeah.
come and watch, and that's how it works.
It like this live stream. I don't know how many watch hours I'll get for it. Doing 2 hours, and I really appreciate you being here.
Mm,
But I might get three or four watch. I might get four watch hours out of it, right?
mm,
But I'm not doing this to only get hours, and I want to do this free form thing frequently.
yeah,
I want people to know that they can come in all times of the day. There'll be something for someone to come into because, like, I want to treat it kind of like a coffee shop, you
yeah,
know, where there isn't always a topic, there isn't always a goal
mm,
of sharing a particular message, but more the goal is to greet people and let people converse. I don't know what,
yeah. You
hang
say
out.
coffee shop. I would say barber shop, which is hair cutting and stuff like that, where you sit the guy, how are you? Now you're yapping, and there we go.
I remember in the old days they used to go to the general store, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean by general store?
Go on, explain.
It's a place where you can buy a little everything, right? And then
Okay, yeah, yeah.
they have a great big pickle barrel, and they all
Hmm.
sit around the pickle barrel eating pickles, telling stories, sharing. Because people lived out in the country way far away, and they may have been a long time to get there. So everybody would come gather, and they would
Yeah,
share stories and check up on each other around the pickle barrel at the
yeah.
general store.
Just sharing life. I like the way of just sharing life.
Yeah,
At work, I do that a lot. Um, with it's like people say, why do you tell people about this and that? It's like it sounds like it's personal, but yeah, I just love to share life.
yeah.
That's how I am, and I think having a channel like that or having content like that with people, we learn from each other, and yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
that
think
is
you're
quite
absolutely right, and that's the fun of it.
yeah, that's the fun, and that keeps the conversation going.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of conversation going, I think I'm gonna pull the plug on this. I got to run,
yeah.
but thanks for sharing your time with me. I really
It's
appreciate
okay.
it.
I feel guilty already about every time in the morning I see you on, then you just caught the end of Kerry's show and then you start running. So, and every time I comment because I need to leave work, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity to say hi to Scott because yes, I will every morning I want to come on, but I got this rush. I need to go to work. But yeah, it's nice talking to you, Scott, and nice sharing life. Let me say sharing life. It's always awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. And Susan, thank you so much for coming in also
Hi,
and
Susan.
hanging out with us. And I hope you both have a great day. And I hope that um, what you do today and what you keep in your mind and in your focus is preparing you for your worship on Sunday. I think too many
Mhm.
times people, wait till Sunday, and preparing today will really, really, really help to facilitate things. So with that, I'll let you go. Again, I appreciate you so much, Graham. I
Same
hope
here.
this free weekend of yours allows you to do a lot of nothing.
Hmm. But thanks, Scott.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.